Students and faculty at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts may often hear the sounds of organ music as it pipes through Crawford Hall. The source of those notes on this day? High school senior Raymond Hawkins, who has been involved with organ music since he was 6 years old.
My father is a professional pianist, and I've been around that all my life, and so I think that had a big influence on my musical inclinations. I got started turning pages for the organist at church where I was in California, and I was very shy, but she eventually kind of got me out, and I would play, she would play part of the hymn, and I would play the melody on a different manual, and eventually she had me doing more and more and started teaching me, and I really got into it from there.
Hawkins was introduced to the North Carolina School of the Arts while attending a summer program on campus. He immediately made a huge impression upon the instructor, Dr. Timothy Olson.
It was obvious at that point that he had not only a real ability in playing organ, but a real passion for it, which was always very exciting as a teacher to find somebody like that. The rate at which he picked up things that I was talking about in the workshop, he was sitting there with his notebook taking notes in every session. And the next day, after having practiced the night before, he would have incorporated some of those things in the next session. So it was very clear to me early on that he was very passionate about what he did.
Hawkins is so passionate that he practices 4 to 5 hours a day, which he admits has not always been an easy exercise. He credits the North Carolina School of the Arts in helping him hone in on his musical studies.
I think it's helped me keep focused on one thing rather than being environment before. I was always tempted to go outside and play baseball with the neighbors and stuff, and I should have been practicing because I definitely like to do it, but it's just less distraction, I think, from everything else that a normal teenager could be doing. It takes a lot. And I will say that there were times in the past when I've been kind of not sure if I really wanted to do it and put in all the work. But I think really since I've been here, it's really caused me to consider that this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stick with it. And I enjoy it 100% now.
Hawkins has proven his skills in multiple ways. He's won several organ competitions, both locally and regionally.
It's really exciting, and I wasn't expecting it, but I think that's kind of what I learned from that is you can't be focused on really trying to win. You just have to play from the inside and do the best you can, and it really tends to show through.
In addition to his studies at the North Carolina School of the Arts, Hawkins has also served in organist positions in churches in North and South Carolina. Dr. Olson says Hawkins' passion for the organ and his dedication to his studies mirrors exactly the type of student that can be found on the North Carolina School of the Arts campus.
Raymond's a great example of the type of student that is here at School of the Arts. I think in the high school program particularly because there are so few this type of high school where they have the opportunity to study music or other art forms here on campus. I think it's a real wonderful opportunity for high school students to be able to zone in on something that they know they're very passionate about. They can still have a very strong academic component to their high school career, but have a more flexible schedule in which they can really build their ability in their art craft. Students who come here for the high school program come here because they already have a passion for music. They're leaving home, oftentimes many miles from home, and they're coming to an institution where, yes, they can continue their academic studies, but they can also put a real focus on their craft. And at the high school age, it's difficult to do that in a traditional public school.
And Hawkins says he believes music education and an introduction to music is vital in the lives of young people.
It gives something, a way of expressing your emotions and creativity in ways that you can't really do in any other way. And I think it has an impact also on other people that you can share this with people, and it's a really great thing for people. And even though some kids might not understand when they're young, I think as you get older, you start to realize how worth it really is to pursue that.
Hawkins has big dreams moving forward as he graduates from the North Carolina School of the Arts, and his instructor has no doubt that he can achieve them.
My focus is, I think I want to be performing artist and church musician as well, some combination of the two. I don't know, I mean, it's hard to tell what there is, but I think it'll definitely be some combination of those two.
Who knows what his future will be, but it will be bright. He's got just about any opportunity to him if he continues at the pace that he is now and continues with that dedication and passion. It makes any instructor or any teacher that has a student that, one, has the talent, two, has the initiative and drive and the passion for it to succeed like that. It makes your heart swell as a teacher.